It happened to me. I was digging in the scorching sands of Mali last summer, an archaeologist chasing whispers of a lost kingdom, when my trowel hit something hard. A glint of bronze peeked through the dirt, and my heart raced as I pulled out an amuletto, its edges carved with symbols I couldn't read. I'm Thomas Hale, and that find should have been my triumph. But when I brought it back to my apartment in Raleigh, North Carolina, in March 2025, something came with it. That night, I woke to a low hum, like a chant, vibrating through my walls. I stumbled out of bed, the air thick and heavy, and flipped on the light. Nothing, just the amuletto on my desk, glowing faintly under the lamp. Then my neighbor's dog, Rusty, started barking, not his usual yaps, but a frantic, guttural howl that made my skin crawl. I grabbed my phone, dialed 911, and stammered, "There's something outside." But the line crackled with static, and a voice, not the operator's, hissed, "You took it." The police arrived 10 minutes later, 2 officers, Jenkins and Ortiz, sweeping their flashlights across my yard. "No tracks, no signs of a break-in," Jenkins said, scratching his head. "You sure it wasn't a dream?" I pointed to the amuletto, its glow now dim, and Ortiz frowned. "Where'd you get that thing?" Before I could answer, Rusty's barking turned to snarls, and we ran outside. The dog's eyes glowed red, his teeth bared at something we couldn't see, and Jenkins drew his gun, shouting, "Stay back." By morning, word spread, and a local medium, Ms. Eliza Gray, knocked on my door. She was a wiry woman, her eyes, sharp like a hawk's, clutching a leather pouch of herbs. "That amuletto isn't yours," she warned, stepping inside without asking. "It's a guardian's mark, tied to an entity from the old sands." She lit sage, the smoke curling toward the amuletto, but it flared brighter and the room shook. Eliza staggered, her voice trembling. "It's here, and it's angry." I couldn't sleep after that. The hum grew louder, now a chorus of whispers in a language I didn't know, clawing at my mind. My cat, Luna, hissed at corners, her fur bristling, and I swore I saw shadows stretch longer than they should. Desperate, I drove to the Raleigh Public Library, digging through dusty anthropology books. A faded passage caught my eye. An ancient Malian tribe bound their dead to amuletos, guardians tasked with eternal protection. "Disturb it, and it claims you," the text read. That afternoon, I tracked down Old Man Carver, a retired historian, who'd lived in Raleigh since the 50s. His hands shook as he studied the amuletto, his voice low. "Boy, you've woken something fierce. My granddaddy told tales of artifacts like this. They don't rest easy." He handed me a journal, yellowed pages detailing a 1920s explorer who brought back a similar piece. The man vanished, his house burned, and dogs howled for weeks. Back home, the whispers turned to screams, and Luna clawed at the walls, her eyes wild. I called Father Daniel, a priest from St. Mary's, begging for an exorcism. He arrived with a cross and holy water, chanting prayers as the amuletto pulsed on the table. The air grew cold, and a shadow loomed, tall, horned, with red eyes that burned into mine. Father Daniel splashed water, but it hissed into steam, and the entity roared, "Mine!" Eliza returned with a team, 2 psychics, Clara and Mark, their faces pale as they circled the amuletto. "It's a sentinel," Clara whispered, her hands trembling. "Bound to protect a tomb." Mark gripped a crystal, muttering, "It sees you as the thief." They tried a banishment, candles flickering, but the shadow lunged, knocking Mark across the room. Luna screeched, her claws slashing at nothing, and the windows rattled. The police came again, Ortiz now wide-eyed, reporting neighbors hearing chants. "We found claw marks on your door," he said, voice tight. I showed them the journal, and Jenkins radioed for backup, muttering, "This ain't normal." Outside, birds crashed into the glass, their eyes red, and I realized the entity wasn't just in my house. It was spreading. Father Daniel tried, again his voice rising over the chaos, but the amuletto cracked and the shadow solidified, its form towering, draped in tattered robes. "You stole my rest," it bellowed, its voice shaking the floor. I grabbed the amuletto, ran to the fireplace, and hurled it into the flames. The entity screamed, a sound that pierced my skull, and the fire flared, consuming the bronze. But it didn't stop. The shadow faded, only to reappear outside, red eyes glaring through the window. Eliza yelled, "It's tied to you now." I bolted to my car, driving to Carver's, begging for answers. He handed me a map pointing to an old burial ground nearby. "Return it," he rasped, "or it takes you." I sped to the site, the entity's hum deafening, birds dive-bombing my windshield. I dug frantically, the amuleto still warm from the fire, and buried it deep. The ground trembled and the shadow loomed, its red eyes narrowing. "Thief." It growled, but as I covered the hole it sank, the hum fading. Silence fell, broken only by my ragged breaths. Weeks later, the police found no trace of the chaos, but Rusty still growls at my door. Eliza vanished, her pouch left behind, and Carver swears he hears chants at night. I burned my notes, but the amuleto's symbols haunt my dreams, and last night, Luna stared at me, her eyes flickering red. It's not over. The burial ground lies quiet now, but every creak in my house, every rustle outside, pulls me back to that night. I thought I'd escaped, but 2 days ago, Jenkins called, his voice shaky. "We found something at the site, Hale. Claw marks, deep ones, and a bronze shard." My stomach dropped. I raced back to the library, flipping through more books, and found a warning. The guardian binds to the taker, not the trinket. My hands shook as I read on, the realization sinking in. Burying it wasn't enough. Last night the hum returned, softer but closer, like it's inside me now. I drove to Carver's again, pounding on his door, but he was gone, his journal left open to a sketch of red eyes. The police won't answer my calls, and Luna's missing, her collar on the porch with claw marks. I hear it now, the entity's voice whispering my name through the walls, patient, waiting. You might dig someday, chasing history or glory, and unearth something ancient, something cursed. Don't touch it. The moment your fingers brush that amuleto, it sees you, follows you, claims you. The police will scoff, the priests will fail, and the animals will turn, their eyes glowing red in the dark. I thought I could bury it, outrun it, but it's in me now, its hum a heartbeat I can't escape. Run if you hear that chant, because once you take it, there's no giving it back. It crossed oceans for me, tore through my life, and left me with nothing but its red gaze. Don't dig where the earth hums. Don't disturb what guards the dead, or you'll feel it too. The weight of its eyes, the pull of its will, the endless chant that binds you forever. I unearthed that amuleto, and it's still here, whispering, watching, waiting. Don't let it find you, because when it does, those red eyes will be the last thing you see. It happened to me. I was overseeing a road project in rural Oklahoma, March 2025, when the bulldozers churned up something dark beneath the red clay. I'm Clara Evans, an engineer with a deadline, and we were carving a highway through land no one talked about until that first night when the wind carried screams that weren't ours. My crew shrugged it off, but by dawn, my daughter, Lily, woke shrieking, claw marks on her window. I drove home to Tulsa, 30 miles east, my hands shaking on the wheel, and found Lily curled up, her eyes wide. "They said my name, Mom," she whispered, pointing to the glass where jagged scratches spelled, "Leave." I called the police, and Officer Hayes, a gruff man with a buzz cut, arrived with his partner, Lopez. "Kids playing pranks, maybe?" Hayes grunted, but Lopez frowned, tracing the marks. "These ain't from a knife," she said, her voice low. Back at the site that afternoon, the air felt wrong, heavy with a stillness that pressed on my chest. My foreman, Jake, radioed me, his voice tight. "Something's spooking the machines. Clara. Engines cut out, then start screaming on their own." I rushed over, and there in the dust were footprints, bare, deep, circling the equipment. Then the crows came, dozens, slamming into the cabs, their eyes red as blood, and Jake yelled, "What the hell is this?" That night, my husband, Mark, called from home, panicked. "The dog's gone crazy, Clara. He's clawing the door, growling, at nothing." I told him to lock up, but by morning, our mutt Scout was missing. and the neighbors reported hearing chants in the wind. I sped back to the site where Hayes and Lopez were already waiting, called by Jake. "We got claw marks. Here too," Hayes said, pointing to a bulldozer, its metal gouged deep. Desperate, I tracked down a medium, Sarah Blackwood, who lived on the edge of town. She was a tall woman, her hair streaked gray, and she flinched when I told her about the road. "That land's old," she hissed, clutching a beaded necklace. "Cherokee ground sacred, cursed when they were driven out. You've woken them." She came with me, burning cedar at the site, but the smoke twisted into shapes, faces, hands, and she gasped, "They're angry, and they know you." I couldn't stop now, the company wouldn't let me. But that night Lily screamed again and I found her bed slashed, feathers everywhere. Mark called Father Paul, our local priest, who arrived with a Bible and holy water. "Evil's here," he said, sprinkling the room. But the water boiled on the floor and a voice roared, "You broke our rest." Shadows flickered, tall and thin, with red eyes glaring from the corners. I raced to the Tulsa County Library next day, poring over old records. A 19th century map showed the road's path cutting through a Cherokee burial mound, unmarked, forgotten. My stomach sank as I read accounts of settlers vanishing there, their livestock torn apart. I called John Redfeather, an elder from the Cherokee Nation, and met him at a diner. His face hardened when I explained. "You've desecrated our dead," he said, his voice gravel. "They'll take everything you love till you stop." The crew pushed on, but that evening, Jake's wife called, sobbing. "He's gone, Clara. Something dragged him out the back door." I sped to his house where Hayes and Lopez were already there, staring at claw marks 10 feet up the wall. "This ain't human," Lopez muttered, her hand on her gun. Crows circled overhead, screeching, and I saw Scout in the yard, his eyes red, snarling at me. Sarah brought her team, 2 psychics, Ben and Tara, to the site, chanting over smoldering herbs. "They're warriors," Ben said, sweat on his brow. "Bound to protect this land." Tara clutched a talisman, whispering, "They want blood." The ground rumbled and shadows rose, red eyes blazing. Father Paul joined us, his prayers loud, but a wind howled, snuffing his candles, and a voice thundered, "Your ruin!" I begged the company to halt, showing them the map, but they laughed. Superstition won't stop progress. That night, Mark vanished from our bed, his side clawed to shreds. Lily hid, sobbing as the house shook, and I called Hayes. He arrived with backup, guns drawn, but the shadows darted past, untouchable. "We're out of our depth," he yelled, as crows smashed the windows. I returned to Redfeather, pleading for help. He gave me a pouch of sacred earth. "Scatter it where you broke ground," he said, "and pray they forgive." I raced to the site, the spirit's screams deafening, and poured the earth, begging, "Take me, not them." The ground split, shadows surging, red eyes everywhere. I stumbled back, their chants a wall of sound, and saw Scout lunge, his jaws snapping inches from my face. Hayes fired, the shot echoing, but the bullet passed through Scout, hitting dirt. Sarah yelled, "They're tied to the land, not the flesh." The shadows closed in, their forms sharpening, warriors, feathers in their hair, eyes burning. Red Father Paul tried again, his cross raised, but it snapped in his hands and he fell, gasping. "God help us." Ben and Tara scattered, their chants lost in the wind. I ran to the mound's center, the earth pouch empty, and screamed, "I'll stop it." The ground heaved and a figure loomed, tall, skeletal, its voice a hiss. Too late. I fell, to my knees, the air thick with their rage as crows dove, their talons grazing my skin. Hayes dragged me back, shouting, "We're leaving!" But the shadows followed, their red eyes unblinking. Days later, they found Mark in a ditch, alive but muttering Cherokee words he never knew. Lily won't speak, her hands trembling, and Scout's back, but he watches me with those red eyes, growling low. The company halted construction after Jake's body turned up, torn apart. But the chants linger in Tulsa, echoing through my walls. I burned the map, but last night Lily whispered, "They're still here." Redfeather won't answer my calls, and Sarah's gone, her necklace left on my porch. Hayes quit, muttering about shadows in his dreams. and Lopez found feathers in her car, blood-streaked. The site's quiet now, but every creak, every rustle feels like them, waiting, watching. I thought I could fix it, but the earth remembers and its guardians don't forgive. You might pave a road someday, chasing progress or profit, and think it's just land, just dirt. Don't. The moment your machines break that ground, they see you, hear you, claim you. The police can't stop them, the priests can't banish them, and the animals turn, their eyes red with their rage. I paved that road and they took my family, my life, my peace. Run if you hear those chants, because once you disturb their rest, there's no undoing it. They followed me home, tore through my world and left me with nothing but their red gaze. Don't pave where the wind screams, don't touch what's sacred or you'll feel it too. The weight of their vengeance, the grip of their will, the endless wail that binds you to their fury. I broke that ground and they're still here, whispering, stalking, waiting. Don't let them find you, because when they do, those red eyes will be the last thing you see. The road's paused, but the land hums, and every night I hear them, closer, calling, claiming, until there's nothing left but their endless wrath. It happened to me. I moved into a sleek new apartment in downtown Savannah, Georgia, March 2025, and that first night the walls groaned like they were alive. I'm James Carter, a graphic designer chasing a fresh start, but by morning, my cat, Shadow, hissed at nothing, eyes wide. Footsteps paced above, heavy, slow, though the top floor was empty and my skin crawled. I called the super, Mr. Dawson, who muttered, "Ain't nobody there," but his eyes flickered nervously. That night, Shadow clawed my door, yowling, and a cold breath whispered, "Get out." I dialed 911, heart racing, and cops, Officer Reed and Sergeant Mills arrived, flashlights sweeping. "No break-in," Reed said, but Mills pointed to scratches outside my 10th floor window, saying, "This ain't normal." Next day, Mrs. Ellis from 4B grabbed me, rosary shaking. "This place is on the old jail," she hissed. "Hanged 'em and buried 'em here." I laughed, but that night Shadow's eyes turned red, and she lunged, claws out, until I locked her up, snarls echoing. I called Clara Voss, a medium, who brought sage, saying, "Death's heavy here." Smoke formed nooses and she gasped, "Prisoners trapped, angry." Footsteps pounded, whispers clawed my brain, and Shadow broke out, slashing my couch. I ran to the Savannah Historical Society, finding a 1735 ledger. This was a jail, dozens hanged, bodies beneath. Cursed ground, it warned, and I felt sick. I met Dr. Henry Tate, historian, who said, "They vowed revenge," showing a sketch of red eyes in a cell. Back home, shouts erupted, and Shadow clawed my arm. I called Father Michael from St. John's, who came with holy water, chanting, "Sin's here." The water hissed and a shadow rose, gaunt, chained, red eyes blazing, roaring. "You built on us." Father Michael fell, gasping as the room shook. Clara brought psychics Ellen and Paul, saying, "They're legion," as candles flared, and the shadow slammed Paul down, windows bursting. Reed and Mills rushed in, guns out, after screams hit the street. Claw marks on the ceiling. Reed cursed, calling backup as dogs barked outside, eyes red. Mrs. Ellis prayed, rosary snapping, and Father Michael tried again, but the shadow bellowed, "Our graves," splitting the floor. I raced to the basement, found a trapdoor, and pried it open with Reed exposing bones, human, chained. Clara yelled, "They're tied to these." I begged Father Michael to bless them, but the water steamed, and shadows surged, red eyes glaring, chanting, "Thief of rest." Ellen screamed, "They won't stop," as Paul bled and Shadow lunged, snarling. Mills fired, bullets useless, and the building rocked, walls cracking. I ran to Tate's, pleading, "How do I stop them?" He said, "Burn the bones, or they take you." I grabbed gas from my car, doused the trapdoor, and lit it, shadows lunging, red eyes blazing. The fire roared, screams piercing, and I bolted, smoke choking me until the blaze swallowed them, silence hitting hard. But weeks later, Shadow growls at corners, eyes flickering red, and Clara vanished, leaving Sage behind. Tate hears chains. At night, and my new place creaked last night, a red eye in the dark. Reed quit, muttering about nightmares. and Mills found claw marks on her car. Mrs. Ellis fled, whispering, "They're here," and the building hums, angry. I burn the bones, but whispers follow, footsteps in my dreams, and shadow watches, red-eyed. They're not gone, just waiting, and every creak pulls me back. The air weighs heavy, walls groan, and I feel them, always. The fire didn't kill them, just pushed them deeper, and now they seep through the cracks, red eyes in every shadow. Ellen called once, voice shaking. "They're spreading," then hung up, gone by morning. Paul's in a hospital muttering about chains, and Father Michael won't leave his church, praying nonstop. I tried to flee, but my car stalled, claw marks on the hood. I went back to the Historical Society, digging deeper, and found a letter. A guard in 1736 wrote, "They curse this earth, vowing to haunt all who tread it." My hands shook as I read, knowing I'd built my life on their hate. Tate warned, "Fire won't end it, only stirs them," and now I hear them everywhere. Dogs howl nightly, eyes red, and neighbors report scratches, whispers, shadows in halls. Reed's replacement, Officer Grant, came once, saw the marks, and left, pale, saying that we can't fight this. I tried salt, prayers, anything, but the hum grows, and shadow stalks me, claws clicking, red eyes unblinking. The building feels alive, pulsing with their rage. I can't sleep, can't breathe, the air thick with their hate. And every night, the footsteps close in, chains dragging, voices chanting, "Ours, ours." I moved again, but my new walls creak, and a red eye stares from the dark, their reach endless. I burned their bones, but it woke them, and now they own me. My life, my soul. You might move into a new place thinking it's safe, just walls and floors. Don't. If the air chills, if footsteps echo, they see you, claim you. Cops can't save, priests fail, and animals turn, red-eyed, wild. I lived there, and they took my peace, home, sanity. Run if you hear chains, because once you're on their graves, there's no escape, and those red eyes never blink. They don't rest, don't forgive. And every night they whisper my name closer, louder, until I feel their hands cold and hard. The fire only fueled them, and now they spread, red eyes in every shadow, every corner. I see them in mirrors, hear them in silence, and shadow follows, a red-eyed ghost of what she was. The city hums with them now, dogs howling, people fleeing, and I can't outrun it. Tate called, voice shaking. "You woke a curse?" Then cut off, gone. Clara's sage sits unused, and Ellen's screams echo in my head. I tried salt, prayers, but the hum grows, and the red eyes watch, endless. I'm trapped, their prisoner now, and every creak, every shadow is them, claiming me piece by piece. The building stands, a tomb alive, and I hear them chanting, "Ours, ours," until I can't tell my voice from theirs. They won't stop, won't leave, and I'm theirs forever. Don't live where the walls hum, where the air bites, or you'll feel them too. The cold of their grip, the weight of their eyes, the endless rage that binds you. I built my life there, and they took it, piece by piece, until nothing's left but their red gaze, burning through me. They spread now beyond the building into the city, red eyes in alleys, whispers on the wind. Shadow follows, a red-eyed beast, and I hear them in every silence, every breath. I burned their bones, but it woke them, and now they're everywhere, endless, unyielding, claiming all I am. Run if you hear those footsteps, because they don't rest, don't forgive, and once you're in their grasp, those red eyes are all you'll see. I lived on their graves, and they took me, my world, my soul, leaving nothing but their hate. Don't stay where the walls groan, or you'll be theirs too, forever, lost to their red glare. They're in my shadow now, my breath, my blood, and every night they grow louder, closer, until I am them and they are me. The curse lives, breathes, hunts, and I can't run, can't hide, can't fight. Don't live there, don't breathe there, or those red eyes will find you, and you'll be lost like me to their endless wrath. You've heard the tales, but the curse still whispers. Subscribe to Mysteries Beyond the Shadows so you're not the next claimed by these shadows. like the video to ward off the red eyes, hit the bell to never miss the terror, and comment, "Flee the curse" to break the spell. Don't let them catch you. Etch.